What's up, people? My name is Brian Joel, and as you can tell by the title up above, I am joining the Air Force. There are two big reasons why I started this account about the Air Force and the, recruiting process and all of that stuff. One of the big reasons, just for myself. Like, this could possibly be the beginning of the rest of my life. Who knows how many years I'll serve in the Air Force and what opportunities will I get in life simply based off of my time in the Air Force. So I just wanted to start making these videos, and I could use this as like reflection. Like years down the line, I could look back at these videos and say, man, this is where it all started, like all because I went to go join the Air Force. So that's one of the big reasons. The other big reason is for you guys. I know there are a lot of people out there right now, you're watching this video because either A, you're going through the same enlistment process that I'm going through, or you're considering joining the Air Force or another branch of the military, and you just want to put a face on that process. Like, I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I was just there not too long ago, and with me, I was all over YouTube searching for so many videos. I wanted to hear so many different points of views and different opinions and things like that. And I know how helpful all of those people that I watched were to me. So if I can be as helpful to you guys as they were to me, then hell, I'll take that flag and I'll run with it. So yeah, let's start off with why I want to join the Air Force. I'm the type of guy, I have insane ambition. My ambition is out of this world. Let's put aside what everybody else thinks about me and where I should go and what I should be doing in my life. I have expectations for myself, and I feel like me being 22 years old, I'm not at the point in life where I want to be. I could look back to when I was in high school, and if I would envision where I would be when I was 22 years old, right here would not be that. And I'm not trying to downplay my own life or anything like that, because I have a job, the pay is nice, hell, I'm able to finance my own life, I'm living on my own, paying my own bills, all of that stuff. But I've never been the type of person that saw myself as somebody who just went to work, collected a paycheck, paid the bills, and that's the extent of my life. Like, I see more for myself. I see greatness. I've always wanted to be a part of something, a part of a bigger picture. Like I said, my ambition is out of this world crazy. And I was actually having a conversation with my best friend before all of this started, and she was telling me like, oh, your life is so easy, you just have such a laid back life. And like, normal people, they go through stuff in their everyday life and stuff like that. And she was just comparing my life to hers, and I was like, yeah, my life is kind of easy, but I wouldn't say that's a compliment. Like, I expect more out of myself. So I started out, this whole process for me started out with me thinking that I wanted to go back to school. So I was thinking about ways that I could pay for school, ways that I can get back into school, and that led me to the Air Force. I remember people talking to me about the educational benefits that the Air Force gave to the airmen and things like that, and the people involved in the military, like the military benefits as far as education goes. So that's how I got pulled into the whole Air Force thing. And also, I was in AFJROTC, Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, back when I was in high school, 4 years there. And so I was familiar with the Air Force, and I knew what they had to offer from that perspective, but I wanted some more information on it. So I started looking at that. Like, I have no problem whatsoever admitting what drove me to the Air Force. I was thinking about those educational benefits. And then the funny thing is, it's like it opened up so many doors to me, because I started out with that, and I was thinking, well, what would my lifestyle be like if I joined the Air Force? What are these bases like? Or, what else does the Air Force have to offer? And and I started going through all of this stuff, and pretty soon I'm like, damn, that doesn't sound like too much of a bad idea. Like, I'm really thinking about the Air Force. Like, it started out just with the educational stuff, and then I was like, maybe I can make a career out of the Air Force. And then at that point, I became so consumed. I became literally obsessed with all things Air Force. I was on YouTube searching for videos, military.com, about.com, all of that stuff. I was just trying to take in so much information. I became like, every waking moment of mine that wasn't spent eating or anything else, like, I was on the computer searching for stuff on the Air Force. Like, it just took over my life. And then I finally decided to start calling recruiters and things like that. Like, where I'm positioned at my apartment, it's like almost in the middle of two different recruiting offices. Like, one is about 7 miles away from my house and the other one is 9 miles away. So I called both, and the funny thing is I didn't get an answer from either. It actually, the first time I called like I forgot what they said it was, but it was like a fucking distribution office or something like that. They're like, sir, you have the wrong number, but I'll direct you to somewhere else. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So the lady that answered the phone there, she gives me a number to one of the recruiter's office. Call there, no answer. I call the other recruiter's office, no answer. I called the first one again, no answer. Called the second one again, no answer. And I'm like, damn, has my stock fallen this far? Because back when I was in high school, I told you guys I was in AFJ ROTC. We were involved with, Air Force and stuff like that. Had a lot of recruiters come talk to me then. I took the ASVAB 2 times when I was in high school. I had to beat recruiters off with a damn stick. Like, I had to, stay away from me. And it's like I go from there in high school where they're chasing me down and I can't even get a fucking phone call. Like, you can't even answer the phone. So I'm like, wow, my stock has fallen this low. But yeah, so I called the recruiter. They didn't answer. The next day I called them both again. Neither one of them answered. I finally decided to leave a message on, I think I left a message on both, but only one of them returned my call later on in the day, and it was the one that was a little further away from me, 9 miles. And the funny thing is, when he called me, I was working, so I couldn't answer that call. So it's like we're sitting up playing phone tag. I call you, you don't answer. You call me, I don't answer. So the next day, he finally calls me again, and I finally talk to him, and I set a date for me to go meet up with him, talk, all of that stuff, and we set the date for, it was the end of March. So I go up there, I talk to the recruiter, and the funny thing about it was, his experience for me, his experience was a lot similar to mine, because he talked to me about how he had to, he was thinking about joining the Air Force when he was 17 years old. It was the same thing with me also. Like, I had one of those recruiters, I didn't, push him away. I actually started to talk to him, but I decided ultimately that the Air Force wasn't the right thing for me at that time in my life. So, yeah, he was talking to me about how he had the chance to join when he was 17 years old, but he didn't do it. So he waited until he was, like 21 or 22 to join, and he finally got in, and he's been in for, 5 years, and he wished he would have joined back when he was 17. And I'm like, wow, that's like too similar to my story. Like, it was weird how it was so similar. But yeah, he was impressed with me, how I came in there with, like, I came in with about 20 or 25 questions for him. I had them all written down in a notebook, and I was just firing off the questions to him, and I was asking him all of these questions. He was impressed that I did my research before I even stepped foot into his office, and he answered all of the questions, and they were to my liking and things like that. And he started to ask me about myself and what did I like doing and what did I enjoy. I told him I love watching TV. I started throwing off some TV shows that I love: The Wire, Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad. And he was like, you watch Breaking Bad? I was like, yeah, that's one of my favorite TV shows. And turns out it was one of his favorite TV shows also. So we had like a 5 or 10 minute conversation completely off of the Air Force, just on Breaking Bad. We were talking about that, and it was just a wonderful experience with the recruiter. And one of the questions that I had for him that I wrote down on a notebook, I think this was the last question I asked him. I told him, when you were in my position, when you were talking to a recruiter and you were thinking about joining the Air Force, what was going through your head? And that's when he told me this story about how he was 17 and he had the chance to join, but he didn't. And he joined 5 years later. And he said at that time he knew, because he had 5 years to think about whether he wanted to join the Air Force or not. So he knew when he talked to that recruiter, no matter what, he was joining the Air Force. And he was like, so the only question I had for him was, so how soon do I take the ASVAB? And so we kept talking and stuff like that. So he's like, you have any more questions for me? I said, yeah. When do I take the ASVAB? And he set me a date for the ASVAB, and that was it. Like, my process had officially begun into joining the Air Force. So yeah, I'll be uploading more videos for you guys. This was basically like an introduction for me, just to throw this out there, and I'll be talking about the ASVAB, talking about MEPS, talking about all of that stuff. And if you guys have any questions about this process or anything like that, like I said, you're one of the ones who are considering joining, make sure you throw them down in the comment section below, and I will definitely get to those in a future video. So thank you guys for watching this video, and if you want to, go ahead and subscribe up there, because there are more videos to come, definitely, and I will see you guys then. Peace.